This video covers 2 sessions on River Crouch at Burnham. Both are in December, a time of year which is quite unpredictable. Bass are the main target in the summer, but I'll be happy to catch anything at this time of year. I've opted to fish the Riverside Park stretch between the town and the yacht harbour. On the first session there was a stiff northerly wind, so I've positioned myself at the end of the harbour arm where there's a little bit of a shelter from that wind. I'm using a 1 up 1 down flapper and a 3 hook short snood Sheppey rig to try and catch whatever I can. Ragworm would be my bait of choice, but I've also got some blow lug to use up. My flapper rig has got 1/0 hooks and I'm using the larger ragworm for this rig. I'm casting this mid-channel at the entrance to the harbour, hoping there might be still a few bass around. My other rig would be cast into the main part of the river, probably going for whiting and hopefully for a dab. Before casting my second rig, I'll run through the locational details. The River Crouch is between the Thames Estuary and the River Blackwater, north of Southend, and flows eastwards into the North Sea. Before homing in on Burnham, I'm just going to point out some of the other estuary venues in the area. On the north bank of the Thames, there are plenty of marks between Canfey and Shoebury Ness to choose between. Tollsbury and Bradwell are probably best known on the Blackwater, while South Bridge and Hollowell Point are probably the most fished on the Crouch. The north bank of the Crouch is part of the salt marsh coastline, which extends to and covers the north bank of the Blackwater. The area of land in between is referred to as the Tendring Peninsula. South of Burnham, you've got the Crouch marks of Lion Creek and the Hole in the Wall, whilst west of Burnham, you've got Creeksea. All can be good on their day, as can the caravan site at the eastern end of Burnham. The area I'm fishing is directly opposite the Hole in the Wall, and is adjacent to the yacht harbour and King's Wharf in Burnham. Homing in on Riverside Park, you can see there's 2 car parks that you can use. The map here shows the 2 spots I've decided to fish. The first is at the end of the harbour arm, and the second on the stone jetty. My second rod's been cast out. I'm just making sure that my lead hasn't been stuck in the mud. As usual, I'll be dragging my baits to induce a bite if nothing's happening. It's bitterly cold and there doesn't seem to be any interest in my bait so far. After a couple more casts, I'll get a little drop back on a rod which is cast out into the main river. It's worth striking and there does appear to be something on. Okay, so it's only whiting, but at least this double shot prevents a blank. Both fish took ragworm, so that's going back onto the hooks. get another bite in the same spot, but unfortunately I missed that. Something's had a go at the larger ragworm, but I didn't see any bites. That needs to be replaced though. Eventually I spot a bite on a close-in rod, and I think I've hit that. Unfortunately, winding in, the fish comes off, and it's at the base of those rocks. A rescue mission is called upon, but by the time I get to the bottom of those rocks, the fish has already got back into the water. So, not the best of sessions with only 3 whiting caught. However, it was good to be out, even if the conditions weren't favourable, and I'm sure I'll be coming back to this spot sometime in the summer. A week later and I was back, during a respite in the windy conditions. This was another short session fished over high water, but this time in the late afternoon. With there just being a gentle onshore breeze, it was time to try that stone jetty. It's far more exposed here, so don't want to be fishing it when it's a gale force wind. I've arrived an hour before the top of the tide, so I can start by fishing at the end of the jetty. Same gear as before, but this time I've gone for a boom rig rather than a one up, one down rig. My other starting rig is a Sheppey rig, but I will move over to a 3-hook clip down rig if necessary. I'm expected to be catching whiting, but I'm hoping that the boom rig might actually get me a dab. With both rods out, I'm expecting a bit of a wait for my first bite. Based on my previous session, I'm expecting the action to start when the tide turns and starts going out. At the moment, it's still coming in and running from my left to my right. Well, now it's a bit of a surprise. I didn't see any bites, but on winding in, I feel like there's something on. So, that's a good start. Double shot of whiting at my first cast. To save time, I'm swapping over to clip down rig, which I've already baited up. I've not clipped the rig down this time, since I don't think distance is going to make a lot of difference today. Boom rig's been out there for quite some time, and just like the Sheppey rig when I first cast it out, I've not seen a bite. However, winding in, I can feel that there is a fish on. And it's another double shot of whiting. Got a little bit of ragworm left over, which is still alive, but this session I'm mainly using lugworm. If I'm trying to catch flatfish, then I prefer to use the small bits. The incoming tide has now started to cover the end of the jetty. Moving the rig on my right hand rod has induced a bite. These are typical little taps from whiting. Sure enough, I get my third double shot of whiting. Time to move further back along the jetty. Having moved, there was a little bit of wait for my next bite. But once again, I get another double shot. However, one of the fish falls off on the way in. I'm now seeing proper knocks on the boom rig. It's the top of the tide. I'm now getting plenty of bites. And most of the time it's double shots, so the river's full of whiting now. Occasionally, the fish barely chew the worms, so you can chuck them back out again without having to change them. short but very busy session with plenty of bites. I carried on as the light started to fade, but soon ran out of bait. I could have put squid on and carried on catching whiting, but I fished with half an intention of trying to catch dabs. It's unlikely that I would have caught them just fishing with squid.